Discretion is advised.
If you feeling like a pimp, niggas gon' pimp.
We're back! Awesome sauce! Hello, are we ready to testify? Yes, we're ready to testify. Welcome to Awesome Sauce Radio. I am your host, One Adam Wonders, the comic pimp. I thank you all for joining us this time Wednesday night. We're finally back. The suspension from YouTube is over. We're live in living color again, baby. So before we bring in tonight's special, sexy, and talented guest, before we get rocking and rolling, I'd like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to welcome my newest sponsor. We're still in negotiations, but like any good drug dealer or anyone giving out good stuff, the first hit's always free. So I'd like you to check out Chicks Comics on Whatnot. They're also on Instagram. Instagram at chicks_comics. Tell them Bon Adam sent you. They have an amazing Evil Dead variant. I never knew Ash from Evil Dead had titties like that, and it's awesome. So go to Chicks Comics and tell them Bon Adam sent you. I'd also like to thank the Big Apple Comic Con. Big Apple Comic Con returns to the New Yorker Hotel on December 16th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. For all your Big Apple Comic Con needs, you go to bigapplecc.com. You tell them Bon Adam sent you. Also, I want to thank Exotica. The Exotica Expo returns to Miami, July 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Miami Airport Convention Center. I may or may not be there. If I can get a good deal on the flight ASAP, I will be there. I'm not sure yet. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bad Dragon. Bad, BAD-Dragon, DRAGON. The official adult toy company of the Awesome Sauce Radio Show. They have amazing stuff. Check them out. Tell them Bon Adam sent you. Bad-Dragon.com. So I want to give a shout out to Comics Exposure. Comic Exposure is one of the major New York City retailers for variant comics. For all your exclusive variant needs, you go to comicexposure.com. You tell them that Bon Adam sent you. And yeah. Also, I want to give a special shout out to Miss Michaela Cox. Put her into your Googles. Type in Miss Michaela Cox on the OnlyFans, the Chatterbait. Love you, Michaela, and I thank you for being one of my administrative assistants. I also want to thank Miss Maya Romero. Miss Maya Romero can be found in the Googles, OnlyFans, Chatterbait, all that good stuff. I want to thank her for editing my last two scenes, and I cannot wait to see what she looks like in a Daisy Duck costume when we film Step Daughter's Delight coming soon. Yeah. You can also catch me July 8th and 9th at Contrapolis. I will be walking around getting interviews for the podcast. Contrapolis takes place in Secaucus, New Jersey. Google Contrapolis because I do not remember what the website is. But, I'll be there. It's like I got to talk to Jar Jar Banks. Because Jar Jar Banks is the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy. Now that we get that all said and done, also check out comiccrusaders.com, best news source in all pop culture and comics. We're going to bring in tonight's guest. She is the sexy, the talented Sarah Starr. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So can you please tell my audience who you are and what you do?
So I'm Sarah Starr, adult performer, sometimes cam model. I haven't been camming as much as I used to. I do a little bit of everything these days. The camming, the editing, the filming, and all the things.
Sweet. How's your trip to Vegas been?
It was great. So I basically did kind of two almost back-to-back trips, and they were it wasn't intended that way. It was supposed to just be one trip, go do a little bit of stuff, and then, come back. I just recently moved to California, so that was part of why I had gone out, because I was like, oh, well, I'm living so close now. I'll just go to Vegas and do a little filming, come back, and work on editing and all that stuff, getting the content out there. And then there was an opportunity to go back to Vegas, basically, what was it, a week and a half later, and there was a kind of like plus size event and then more filming. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do that too and do the whole thing. So yeah, I basically was like, all right, let's spend some more time on the road and go back to Vegas.
Oh, Vegas is not the worst place in the world. But
No, I mean, it could be so much worse.
yeah. So when you're not filming and making content on Vegas, what's like some of the core things to do out there?
Oh, in Vegas or SoCal? Because now I'm so oh gosh, well, there's so much to do in Vegas, because now they're trying to collect all the sports teams.
Yeah,
so you could it's like, what sport do you like? You could go catch any kind of game. There's a punk rock museum now. That's pretty cool. There's so many museums. So, if you're in art, there's all of that. Fremont Street downtown is super cool. Like that whole area.
Fremont Street, I've been going there for years, and every time I go there, it still blows my mind like a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah, like it's just neat to walk around and see what's happening. And the downtown area, they have all these cool shops and, places to just stop in and eat and, grab a bite, grab something to drink. And, just kind of the people watching's amazing. So if you just like to just kind of like take in society for a little bit, that's cool.
Like I said, Vegas is my home away from home. So it's, I like to get other people's takes on it. Very torn. Maybe one day I'll move out there.
It's I guess it just depends on if you like a big, that dry heat all summer. It's,
That's why I'm comfortable just like being on the East Coast in the summer and going out there during the winter at the moment.
Yeah, because it was in the mid-90s. So it wasn't terrible.
So it hasn't gotten bad yet.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, and it was sunny. So, it was like, okay, make sure I don't just like stand outside in the sun and crisp up. But it wasn't silly hot like it can get, but it was getting there. Like I was like warm.
Yes. So how long have you been in the industry now?
It's going to be 12 years this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day, because, I'd started camming, 12 years ago, and I was like, oh, wow. Like it's been like 12 years since, I started camming and doing that, and then making some content and shooting, for studios and doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Cause I know we met at AVN 2018.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, well, I've been doing this for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get started?
Just doing the camming. I was like, let me try like the webcam thing. I'll do this camming and see what happens. And, if people laugh at me, then this isn't for me. And, if people are into it, then that's cool too. And, because again, it was 12 years ago. So making your own content was not like a new thing, but it wasn't like it is now with all of the
it's
different.
Not commonplace. Like everyone is doing it now to a point.
Right.
But it's still novel back then.
Yeah, like you didn't have all the platforms like we do now. Like you didn't have all the OnlyFans and Fanslies and, all of these extra little sites. So you kind of had just a few sites, or you had to make your own website. And, unless you really understood how that worked, that's a whole project. So, I was mostly like, okay, I'll try the webcamming and see how that works. I was doing a little bit of the phone stuff, and that was fun. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I kind of branched out and started filming some, and I was like, oh, this is, yeah, I'm into this. This is great. And it just kind of kept like growing and building from there.
That's the same it does. It sounds like just one thing leads into the other eventually.
Yeah.
How is Stanley? They gave me a card at AVN. I have still not done anything with it yet.
I haven't really used that platform completely. Like I kind of looked at it and I'm thinking about getting into it as like a secondary platform, as maybe like I don't want to call it like an archive, but you know, like a way where fans could also go and get some of my older content and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about tinkering with it, but I'm like, who do I have time for like one more, one more project?
All right. So out of all the platforms that are out there, for someone who's new or maybe only has like a month or two in and is still trying to figure out the waters, what is the best platform you would suggest to start out on?
I mean, everyone ends up with OnlyFans because for some reason it's well known as far as name recognition. You have the name, you have the brand recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where people just kind of migrate to more easily. I don't know how that's going to go in the future, like if people are going to move away from that, but that's kind of where everyone is now. So that's the kind of the big platform that everyone's using.
Interesting. And as far as just putting up, secondary things like, you got your Pornhub and your mini vids and stuff like that as well.
Right. Like I do mini vids and clips for sale, and there are a lot of places, and it's just kind of like finding that sweet spot. It's like, oh, where do people find my content and how can I make that work?
What type of stuff is like your specialty as far as performing?
Oh, I've been filming so many different over the years. I've been filming a lot of different things. When I started, I was like, well, it was just me. So I really focused a lot on fetish stuff and, big boob stuff, because I've got all these boobs. So there's a lot of big boob stuff. And then, when I started filming more with other people, it became a lot of like boy girl and girl, and then how many people can we get to be in this video, and that kind of stuff. And I still do a bit of fetish stuff. I do a little bit of domination stuff. But yeah, it's a real mix. Like my catalog it's interesting because there's a little bit of everything. It's a strange place.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to someone giving a blowjob on camera for the first time?
Okay, so on camera, well, so kind of it partly depends like where's the camera, but you want to kind of look at the camera. Unless the camera's not facing you, then you want to look at the person you're giving the blowjob to. Try to make it as wet as possible. Lots of, I don't know why, but well, I'm sure it feels good for the person you're giving the blowjob to, but lots of spit, making it nice and wet, and I don't want to say wet and sloppy, but just nice and wet and sexy, or but yeah, those are a couple of things that are always fun to make for a good blowjob.
Sweet. So what's better to perform, a hand job or blowjob?
Personally, I like to film a blowjob better than a hand job, and like on film, but I can see where like hand jobs can be fun because you can do all of the like talking and teasing. Like if you're doing like a oily hand job kind of video, you can add in like all the talking and teasing, and there can be a lot of dialogue and fun with that. So I haven't done many of those actually with, like other people. So now I'm all like, wait a minute. I might have to get some like hand job content out there. You
I
gave me
really
an
want to
idea.
film
Thank
something
you.
where the girl's pissed at me, and she's like, "Look at that little dick. What are you, pathetic? You don't deserve a blowjob, but here, hand job." As she's smacking me across the face a few times.
Ah. So that's what you get into, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna name the girl after my ex fiance.
Ah.
And then she'll send me another email saying it's just like, "You haven't gotten over it yet."
Oh.
She's like, "I'm flattered. Name every character you create in your porn after me." We're good friends. I just like that every now and then we'll put her in a video of mine, like character wise, and be like, "Thank you for motivating me."
There you go.
So, what are some of your thoughts on all the age verification laws that are coming our way?
Whew, that is it's really complicated because, so on one hand, it's such a complicated topic because, like, so on one hand, do I think that people need to be of age to be looking at porn? Yes, I don't think children should be looking at porn. But how do you regulate that? Because if you have, say, a family computer,
Yeah,
I don't have a family, but I'm thinking like back in the day, there used to be a family computer that would sit out in the
in the
wherever, the
living
den, the
room.
living room. Yeah. And, if someone's logged into said family computer, once that age verification is completed, the one time it's completed, that's it. It's done.
Yep.
So if you have an underage person in the household who's like, "Oh, I've heard of Pornhub or whatever hub or whatever," and goes and types in, the age verification has already occurred. And if the adult did not log out and clear the cookie, the whole process, it's going to recognize all the information that's already happened and allow all the login to occur. So now that youth, the underage person, can still see the content. So it doesn't really do anything.
I've been seeing. I see it lately as a very slippery slope.
It is. It really is. And then you're getting into, like, you're a private individual. Well, in this case, you're a public individual, but at home, you're a private individual. Now you're putting, some of your personal data into an internet space where you don't know if it's going to be completely safe. Where could it go? Is it, because it's not like when you visit an alcohol site and they're like, "Oh, are you 21?" and you type in your birth date and you move forward and you go look at the recipes that they have. They don't really verify your age. They're just like, "What's your birth date?" And you're like,
Yeah,
01/01/1929, or whatever.
exactly.
Like,
For example, the reason why I don't think this is going to work is because, for shits and giggles, I said, let me just type and see if I can buy ecstasy online somewhere. And I was shocked that there was one website that was just like, it's real simple. Just this is what we have. Here's the
yeah.
shopping cart. Tell us your date of birth, and check out.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to do it because I don't want people. The party's not going to be there going, "Are you Adam blank blank blank? Did you order like 5 tablets of MMDA on the internet? You dumb blind fuck."
It's like, are you having a really good time?
It's just like Joe Friday coming at my door, going, "Are you a stupid blind fuck who you thought it was cool to order illegal drugs on the internet?"
I mean, it's a very slippery slope. I don't think it's the best way to go about it. And it's not me saying like, "Oh, just, leave things alone. obviously children should not be looking at
Anyone under
porn.
the age of 18 should not be watching porn.
Right. Porno is not for kids. It's not how people
Never has
should
been,
learn
and
about
will be.
sex. It's like pornography is not how you learn to have good sex. Like porno sex and real sex are different. It's like, oh gosh.
You don't learn having good sex from porn. You don't learn it from a textbook in a classroom.
Right.
It just happens naturally.
Yeah, you go through the actions and you have a lot of bad sex and then you learn to have good sex. But yeah, it's a slippery slope, and I don't know the right answer because I'm not. Whew. I mean, it's always weird when you're like, well, I'm not smart enough for that, but it's.
I don't think it's the fact that being smart or not smart enough. It's just as a content creator. I'm just okay. Great. Here's one more thing I have to worry about now.
Well, right, and but as a content creator, I understand why I need to verify my age and that information. I totally understand, and I understand the record keeping that we do and the consent releases. I understand all of that process. That's very important. It's a very legal system. It's a legal situation that we do to make sure that we're all consenting to what we do.
Yes.
But we don't necessarily need other consenting adults to get involved on that side of things to watch our content. It's like, look, you're an adult, you're logging into a website to look at things that you want to see, live your best life, but not for kids.
Exactly. And then, of course, people built a time machine and saw what I was doing back when I was a kid. They'd be like, "You hypocritical bastard!" But that's never here or there.
Right. And I mean, but that's a whole thing where, how that's a thing that you get into where you're like, oh, where were the parents? Where were the parental controls on the computer? And
I'm just like, I'm at a point now. It's just like, please, if you're gonna watch porn responsibly.
Right.
If you're under and if you have some parental controls, try to be as safe as possible and don't let kids get near it. Is it a perfect world? If a kid wants to find something, they're going to find it. And there's anyone in the government or the industry can do to stop it. Unfortunately.
And that's a tough. It's like I don't know how the government can fix that. Like, I don't know anyone who works in this industry who's like, oh yeah, let everyone watch it. Like, none of us are like, oh yeah, kids.
I'd be like, huh?
Right. Like, we're all very like, no, kids should not watch this. This is not for the kids.
I don't think that the 8-person gangbang with 3 dicks in the mouth and 2 in the titties.
Yeah, it's like, this is not.
And, girls licking ice cream off the crack of each other's bunghole should be taught in sex ed class.
I mean, there's stuff where I'm like, ooh, this is like for 21 and up. Like, you gotta be a big adult for this. Like, you gotta be an adult for this.
And even at the age of 21, I question adulthood.
Right? It's like, ooh, are you under the age of 25? Because this might not be for you. But yeah, it's a tricky slope, and there are a lot of things that I think the government lately is, kind of sticking their thumbs in, that I'm like, hey, I don't know if this is your place. Like, this is, like getting into, essentially like censorship with libraries and stuff. I'm like, this isn't your job. Like, take off. Go worry about the real problems.
That's where an economy falling apart and World War III about to happen. But yeah, you want to go to every library and say what can and cannot be in the libraries.
Right. Or like control like where things are located in the library or what books are safe to read. And I'm like, don't tell people what's safe to read. That's a scary place to live. Like,
Exactly. It's just like I went to the library and I discovered boobies in National Geographic. I was like, all right, I'm now reading every issue of National Geographic with the articles just in case I see another titty.
and now you're learning all these cool things. You're like, oh, I didn't know about all this.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite studios to work with?
So there aren't a lot of BBW studios, but I've kind of worked with them all. But there are a couple new studios that have been really fun, really great to work with. BBW Adventures, lots of fun.
New?
Yeah. I'm thinking they've been out maybe like a year. I don't know if it's been a year yet.
I'll have to look up them because I work with a lot of
Yeah.
BBWs. So
I'm trying to think if they've been out for a full year or not, because I have kind of bad memory. So I'm like, oh gosh, my memory is really bad. And Blush Erotica has been around for a little bit. Super fun. They're not specifically BBW, but they do shoot bigger girls. Always fun. Always love working with Jeff's models. Hoping to set something up again with them soon. Maybe do something a little crazy. But yeah, it's hard. Like, I've been really fortunate to work with some great studios and some great people. So always a good time.
that's great. Can you explain to my audience what a BBW is?
So a big, beautiful woman, big buxom woman, basically plus size, extra curvy, little bonus love.
Awesome sauce. I may have a BBW fetish. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, just
but that's never here or there. What new projects you have coming out in the pipeline?
Oh goodness. Well, I just shot a bunch of content out in Vegas on those last 2 trips. So I shot some fun girl stuff. Some of it's fetish, some of it's kind of fetishy adjacent. I've got some new boy girl stuff. I've got a video that I'm still kind of editing. So 3 guys and me. So that one's gonna be a lot of fun. So I guess you could call it like a baby gangbang, or
All right, let's ask something here. Really important. How many people is a fun time, and how many people is a gangbang?
See, that's okay. And I don't know, like, I know there's a correct answer of what like makes like the minimum for a gangbang. And I honestly don't know. I think they feel like 5 makes a gangbang. Like, it's gotta be 5 or more to be a gangbang proper.
I've been told it's 3 between 3
Okay. And 5. So, and I'm all like, well, maybe it was a mini gangbang. Like, it's a teeny gangbang.
That question was dedicated to my old boss over at DMC Radio, Bobby J. Return your email, Bobby, please. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm like, how many does make like a proper gangbang? Because for me, like, a fun time can be just like, obviously I have a great time with just 1 guy, but 2 guys, a lot of fun because it's not too many, not too many cooks in the kitchen, not too many like dicks to keep track of. I did do a 5 guy gangbang once, and it was like, oh my god, there's so many dicks. I can't, it's like, there's too many dicks. You're trying to, you're like getting banged, you're sucking one, and then you've only got 2 hands, because there wasn't anal for that. So I was like, there's one left out, there's always one left out.
That's when you have to play rock, paper, scissors.
Right? I was like, oh no, I don't have enough. I can't. I can't
like
do
paper
it.
covers rock.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of like, reaching around.
Amazon, stop.
But yeah, the reaching around, like, because when you have that many dicks in play, you're trying to like make sure you're giving everyone some attention. You don't want anyone to feel left out, or it's a tricky thing. And in the back of your head, you're like, I don't want to play favoritism to anyone. And so it's funny. It's a weird mind game at the same time as like, oh, this is fun. There's all these dicks and they're for me.
I have a question that comes from a good friend of the show. Her name is Brute Liberty. I hope she's doing
Okay.
well. She wants to know what is the best way to approach a female that is trans for a good time?
Just be honest. Well, as far as for a good time, just be honest and be like, hey, I'm interested in you. I think it's coming from like an earnest and honest place, and not a like skeezy, I just want to bang you place.
Yeah.
So it's that like, I think you're a cool person. I think you're a lot of fun. I'd like to get to know you better. Would you be interested in I mean, I always hate to use the word like, would you like to fool around?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's like,
I have a friend, I'm using the stage name I gave her for the show, who's totally blind, and she's into chicks with dicks.
Okay.
And she's nervous about doing her first time, so I was trying to ask her. I threw that question in just thought maybe you would have some expert advice.
Yeah, I think it's just being like respectful and and honest, and not fetishizing the person, and saying like, hey, I think you're a cool person. I'd like to get to know you better, and maybe explore intimate options with each other and see where that goes.
Nice. What advice would you give for a newcomer?
A newcomer in the industry, okay, if you're filming with someone else, always get your content immediately. Don't wait on the person who filmed it to give it to you, because that can be a zoo. If you have boundaries, like things that you're not cool with doing, stand by that. Don't let people push you around. It's okay to have boundaries. It's normal. It's fine. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It's cool. Now, if there's stuff that you want to explore, porn is a lot of fun for that, because boy, is it a playground. It is a playground. If there's something that you're like, I've always wanted to insert activity, you could probably make that happen in porno.
As I've learned in the last couple of years, and especially this year, is I got the cross getting pegged for the first time off my bucket list at the beginning of the year.
Nice. How was that?
It was amazing, and I actually want to do it again. And I may actually talk to one of my friends and actually use a real penis this time around.
Okay.
I hope she actually gets back to me and we can agree on a price.
Yeah.
I guess the only advice I would give is, if you're working with named talent, don't try to negotiate the rates. Just pay the rates.
That's true. Yeah, if you're working with someone and, they're like, hey, I don't do content trade, or like, this is my rate, that's really their rate, and they're providing you with their brand. Like if I contacted what I would consider like an A-list performer and said, hey, I really want to shoot with you. What's your rate? I'm willing to... Oh, my cat is being a pain.
Actually, no, that's why I'm very proud of my dog right now, because it's actually being very well. I may have to keep my end of the bargain and give her extra treats later.
That sounds like a good, yeah.
She's being really, she hasn't tried peeking through the green screen once yet.
Oh, no. My cat has been very needy because I've been away a bit. So I've been coming and going, and more going than I should. And he's like, oh, you're talking to someone? You're on a call? He's like, do you mind if I pop in?
Feel the kitty power.
Oh yeah, he loves. It's funny. He gets all excited when I'm on a video chat, like a call. He's like, oh, I sense you're having a business call. Can I join?
Uh, you into anything nerdy?
Um, uh, yes, ish, like yes, adjacent, but probably not as nerdy as I could be, just because I'm so jam packed with everything else. I wish I could be.
Alright, so, what is the most nerdy adjacent thing that you're into?
I mean, I really I like horror movies a lot. Like that's more of my
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Have you seen the new Evil Dead yet?
I have not gotten to see it yet. It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I just noticed it was
Yeah.
on the Max the other day when I was looking for something for a friend of mine.
Oh, it's already up on Max?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
yeah. I was just like, I was actually surprised too. I was like, did this come out like a month ago?
Right. Like it was just out because that was one of those where I was like, oh, I need things to slow down just a tiny bit so I can get this one in. Cause I love when I saw that it came out, I was like, wait, how does this even connect to Evil Dead? So I had to do a little research and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. Because it didn't the trailers didn't make any sense. It was just all of the thing about the doorbell and the
Yeah.
basically that shot from the cable guy, but not. And I was like, how does this connect to Evil Dead? But when I read, no spoilers, but it does connect to the lore enough that I'm okay with. I was like, oh, okay.
Cool. Would you ever consider making an Evil Dead porn parody?
I know there's one that's been made before. It's called Evil Head.
Why does
So
it sound like a Wood Rocket production? What is that?
it's not. I forget who made it. But Tommy Pistol's in it and totally worth it. But I would love to have, yeah, there should totally be more. I love the idea of like like horror porno and especially like horror comedy porno because you kind of get, like porno doesn't have to be super serious because at the end of the day we're going to be sucking dicks and like
Yeah,
getting
whatever.
cum,
Yeah,
getting cum everywhere.
Vaginas like ice cream sandwiches and
Right. So it doesn't have to be like, a complete drama. But there have been some good serious, like very dramatic pornos that have been a lot of fun. But I like a good horror. I love a horror comedy. Like I think it'd be funny to have like almost like a Tucker and Dale versus Evil porno, that kind of
that's awesome.
campy, like a campy horror porno. So yeah, it would be funny to like revisit the kind of Evil Dead and the lore of that as a porno. I don't see why that wouldn't work.
That'd be awesome. Right now, I'm totally fooling around with an idea of a Sensible Woman porn parody.
Yeah, I mean
I was
that's the
just
whole
watching
thing.
the movie with a friend of mine who just recently lost her sight, and I was watching certain scenes like this would make like the Al Pacino character if you switched it with a hot chick would make a great porno.
Yeah. There's so many things that you see where you're like, oh, that could work, where you just kind of take a little twist on it and, you run with it.
Yeah. So, spit or swallow?
Honestly, I don't love it in my mouth. I'm kind of a like come on my glasses kind of girl.
Awesome sauce.
That's a whole like because I wear my glasses a lot. I've had a lot of trouble with contact lenses over the last few years. So I've just started just exclusively wearing glasses until I don't know. Maybe we'll find out why I can't wear contacts correctly. Or I'll just keep wearing the glasses. But yeah, it's like, oh, you want to come on my face? Well, if you're going to do that, just come on my glasses because that's a whole thing.
See, because depending on who I'm working with, it's just like, just you probably taste okay, but nah, some guy turned me off at one point, blah blah blah. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's a thing. And it's a texture thing too. Like I just don't I know girls who love cum. I know some ladies who are like the more the better. They love it. I don't love the texture.
You know, to be honest,
Yeah.
I tasted my own once just out of curiosity. I was like, yeah, if I was doing this on a regular basis, I'd probably be a spitter.
And obviously I get it on the boobs a lot because there's a lot of real estate there to cover.
Nice, nice. What is your cup size?
I am proud of by now, like a 40N.
Did you say M?
N.
N is in
As
Nancy?
yeah, as in Nancy. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Just
write a scene for Sarah with pretty fucking. Are you in the cosplay at all?
a little bit. I haven't done much. Like I've done more like silly ones. Like I tried to do a Tina Belcher cosplay for a couple little videos.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. Obviously, it was the idea that she was now like a college student. She was no longer a child. Yeah, she was not a child Tina Belcher. She was
Yeah,
an
and,
adult.
I don't
Because
ever think there's ever been a good Bob Burgers porn parody either. So
I don't think there really has been one. I mean, obviously, people kind of do the characters and stuff, but yeah, I kind of tinkered with
there's an
that.
easy way around that. You just make you have a little bit of a time span. You age everyone up by 6 to 7 years, and they're all over 18 now.
Well, that was my whole thing where I was like, the clothes were the same. I had the little wig. Like the look was, I mean, granted, I've got tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was Tina Belcher, but as an adult, And then and I have I have all the bits and pieces, but I've never worn it or filmed in it. But I have a great Pam Poovey cosplay that I've never gotten to do anything with, that I've always been like, man, I really want to do something with this, but it's just never come together.
Nice. All right. Right. Titty fucking scene for Sarah. There's all the cosplay. We'll talk to her off air about possible booking in the future now that she's no longer in Louisiana.
Right? Because Louisiana, that's such a pain to go anywhere from there.
Yeah, so has it been a total culture shock going from New Orleans to SoCal, or?
Oh no, I mean, I've been out here enough that it's like I'm already like used to it, so to speak. But obviously, living out here is a little different. When I moved in May, it was still, for people here, it was still cold. Like it was still like in the 60s, which to me feels amazing. I was like, this is fantastic. And I'm going to the store in like shorts and a tank top because it's beautiful. I was like, this is great. And people would ask me, they're like, aren't you cold? They're like, aren't you cold? And occasionally I get you're not from around here, are you? Because I wasn't like in a hoodie and jeans and all, like all buttoned up. And I'm like, oh no, this is great.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone going out to Southern California for their first time?
I guess it depends on what they're coming to do. I mean, it's
basically I want to pop my Los Angeles cherry.
Okay.
And I basically want to do a little bit of stand-up, and I want to take some meetings with some of the bigger porn studios.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool place. Obviously, like, I would set up those meetings in advance, like try to get those worked in advance or try to make contacts before you come out. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of places that do open mics and stand-ups. So you'll have a field day with that. Like, that's going to be
I also want to visit and plant flowers on a couple dead celebrities' graves.
Yeah, I mean, those...
I was looking online on that stuff, and I was like, all right, this may be easier than I think.
Yeah, because I feel like they kind of have almost like I don't want to say a singular cemetery, but I know that there's like one big cemetery where a lot of celebrities have gone to be buried. And it's pretty common that, people will just go and spend a day there. I don't recall if there's an admission fee, because it's kind of become like a museum too, where it's like, oh, hey, everyone's here. All the dead people are here. So But yeah, I mean, LA is super cool. There's so much to do. It's, obviously you can get around with like Ubers and Lyfts. The public
That's
transit's pretty solid.
I'm spoiled by New York public transportation, so.
Well, and that's New York. New York's obviously got public transpo down. LA is really good with it too. You can get on different types of things and get around. So it's really nice for that. Like, you don't have to be reliant on, a driver. Like, you don't have to be a driver or know someone who drives to get around.
Cool. Like I said, I normally I normally torture myself and put an ad on Craigslist and hire myself an assistant for the week.
Which is helpful. Yeah. That's always, I mean, it is good to like know someone who can kind of, give you those like, oh, you want to do this? Cool. Let's, map that out and make it easier.
Like, just give me a tour of all the local dispensaries too while we're out there.
Yes.
Because the East Coast, our dispensary system still kind of sucks compared to like I go to Vegas. There's one dispensary I like going to that's like the Apple store. And now I'm spoiled because I want every dispensary in the country to be just like that.
So, and that's basically, so here in SoCal, that's kind of how they are. It's so, and you can go in and be like, oh, I would like a product that helps with something to help me sleep or something to help me feel creative, or you're like, oh, I have low back pain, and they can just guide you to exactly what you're looking for. Whether you smoke,
as a visually impaired person, this one dispensary that's right across the street from I guess it's now the Virgin Hotel in Vegas, where the avians used to be held. There's a dispensary that's across the street from there that as a blind person, it was the greatest shopping experience I ever had in my life, because the person who could see was walking around every aisle, and he's like, "You want some of this?" He's like, you like edibles, right? He said, these brownies are good. You just take a bite and it'll put you to sleep. But he's like, if you really want to feel the effect, these are the super strong ones. And they're walking around describing me everything.
Oh, wow.
I was there for 3 hours. I was like, why can't every shopping experience be like this?
Yeah. And I find they're very helpful out here in SoCal. Like, they want you to be happy. They want you to know what you're buying. So yeah, it's nice. They're not just like, hey, so it's the weed store, and just kind of shrug.
Are you going to be at any of the conventions throughout this summer? Any Exoticas or the X-Bizzes, anything like that?
So I'm not doing Miami. I won't do Exotica Miami because there's just too much happening right now. I was like, I need a minute. I need to breathe. But I will do New Jersey in the fall. I don't know. There. Yeah, I'm planning to do New Jersey. I don't know what's happening. What else is happening during the summer? But yeah, New Jersey is my next plan.
My plan was right now New Jersey and then DC, and then prepare, of course, for AVNs in 2024 whenever because I haven't seen dates for them yet.
Oh, it's back to the old dates. Like, what is it? The 23rd to 27th or something? It's in that window.
So I don't have to like, hey, Happy New Year. I'm off to Vegas. Bye.
Right. It's back to the original schedule, and it'll be at Resorts World again.
I liked it at Resorts.
So yeah, it's back on the proper schedule.
Nice. Because last year I was like, okay, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm off to Vegas. I gotta feel. I'm visiting friends for all people who don't know that I'm in the industry. Like,
right.
I'm off to visit my friend, and I'm going to a comic book convention. Bye.
Yeah, because it was so early.
How was AVN for you this year?
It was different. I actually didn't go to the expo at all. I just went out and I filmed. I didn't attend the expo. I skipped the awards. I skipped the whole thing because they had kind of changed it so that as an industry, like if you didn't have a booth to be at, like if someone basically wasn't funding your badge, I guess you could say, you had to buy an industry pass. And it really hadn't been like that before. Like if you were industry, you got in, you just went. And they're doing it now where we have to pay. So if you're not at a booth, if you don't have a sponsor, so to speak, you have to pay to attend. And I thought that was kind of weird. It wasn't really my vibe. So it kind of turned me off. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Vegas. Like I'll go out there, but I'm just going to film.
Yeah, I was there, Thursday through, Friday or Wednesday through Friday. I did what I needed to do for the podcast, and I, walked around, and it just felt weird because it being the first time at resorts.
Yeah. That's what I heard from a lot of people. It's just that it felt different for a lot of people.
Where can my audience find you online?
The best way to find me is allmylinks.com/SarahStar. That'll get you everywhere. Twitter and I will have to fix it for my Instagram because my Instagram was shut down because they don't like us sex worker people or porno people.
I'm just getting off a YouTube suspension myself.
Yeah, they don't like us. So
no, they don't. What irritates me is as far as the content, the video that I filmed this time for this YouTube video, they flagged me for putting in a link. Because I put a link, I put someone's browser's link in the description, and they're like, any external link that shows nudity, bye.
Yeah, they're very sensitive about the things. So yeah,
I was like, okay, so I was like, I won't do that again. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
And I really would like to shoot you an email once I'm done writing the scene that I just wrote in my head as we were doing the interview.
Okay, yeah.
All right, cool. You have a great night.
You too.
All right, everyone, Sarah Starr. Look her up on the Google, and we would definitely have her back on the show sometime in the future.
Bye. All right, now.
Voice of God, can you please play the Vampirella trailer?
One moment.
Which will give me enough time to do something real quick. Now you're going to become a flying dog.
In a galaxy far away,
always among us, our wicked aberrations.
in a world of perfect harmony,
Not content with plenty of civilization, why'd you turn on your brother?
a cold-blooded killer will put an end to it all and shatter a young woman's life forever.
What's that? Yeah. Look up.
Now she's traveling across time to a new world and a murderer over 300,000 years old.
Man, I'm great. You got good goal. And I gotta get back to work.
Delisa Soto,
Truly are one of us.
Roger Daltrey,
Yes, again.
Vampirella,
All right, everyone. I do apologize for some of the interruptions. My brother came home from work. My dog decided to be a dog and wanted to get out in front of the green screen. That was made in 1996 by Roger Corman, the guy who brought us the infamous Fantastic Four movie, and it looks just as bad. to everyone crying and moaning and bitching and groaning about shitty comic book movies currently, shut the fuck up and remember our history when we had stuff like that. Stuff that looked bad. Like, not just bad, but god awful, without a shadow of a doubt, god awful dog. My dog can shit out a better movie than that Vampirella trailer, yo. And no, you're not getting any more treats, Ash. You had enough tonight. But I found it interesting that I may have to watch the full movie. But we got a new Vampirella movie coming eventually. So that is that. I don't have any good spec play with her yet. I will make a Vampirella speculation and investment list for a future episode. But I just found it interesting that I found an old school comic book movie I've never seen before. And the trailer scares me. But what I think is awesome is July 24th from Hulu, we're getting new Futurama. And this looks so good. Voice of God, play the trailer, please.
New home. Our new home.
Oh, we're back, baby.
In 2 seconds, you will collide with your destination.
Good news, everyone. We seem to have survived a massive disruption in the flow of time.
Wait, what exactly happened?
Here, look at this.
Stop fighting. Okay, I'm done.
To the ship!
A new virus. Now,
I've developed a test to see who's infected. You jam this Q-tip up your nose. I can't wait to do it hundreds of times.
Pretty lawless out here in crypto country.
interested in a job?
Why don't you have a belt?
Or at least a substantial butt.
Sorry, guys. I'm a flatty. Lens gave me gift. That's an order.
Ow! You do you, weirdo. We'll fight my glittering festive ass.
Yep.
How do we get out of here?
Easy. We'll burrow out. Burrow. I deserve that.
I'm just glad you're back.
Would you like to order erotic scented massage oil or fuzzy handcuffs?
Yes,
God,
please.
that's creepy.
Yeah, so creepy.
I cannot wait for July 24th. It looks really good. And hopefully it will be Beavis and Butthead reboot good, because that's my standard bearer for these adult cartoon relaunches. If you're not watching Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus, you're missing out. It's that well done. It feels like the original show. Mike Judge doing the voices, being very involved. I can watch Beavis and Butthead make fun of YouTubers all day long. There is a Beavis and Butthead make fun of a girl doing a New York City apartment tour. And it's like one of the greatest, in between the episode, make fun of things they've ever did. So, that. King of the Hill's coming back later on next year. Hopefully they do that well, and they just write off the character of the Brittany Murphy character altogether, who's the character name I forget because I'm a dumbass. I'm the king of dumb asses. There is none higher. Sucker of dumb asses. They call me Sire, man. I be stupid, yo. I am a stupid fuck. Yeah. But I hopefully, I'll show the Ren and Stimpy, please. Oh crap, that may have been out of order, and I do apologize.
It was, but there it goes on screen.
All right, I had a brain fart, man.
You always fart.
Well, farting's king, yo. But I really hope that one day we'll get a Ren and Stimpy reboot that respects the original Nickelodeon show in Marvel Comics.
Are you still doing the free giveaways at the cons? That if if a customer allows you to fart on their hands, you give them a free book like last time.
I never did. That's a Calamity collectible thing. That's not Awesome Sauce Radio. Amazon, stop. Ash, be a good dog. If you see this Ren and Stimpy 44 in the Wild Sheep, pick it up. This is the final issue of the Marvel series. It's during that time period of '96 when Marvel was going bankrupt and was canceling anything that wasn't Spider-Man or the X-Men.
I'll pick it up and sell it for $500 to you.
And better be graded in a 9.8, bitch. Recognize. It better be in a 9. If you're selling it for $500, it better be graded in a 9.8. Signature series by Billy Weston should.
And I'll give you a sample of sperm as well in the label.
God damn! But no, some of these later Ren and Stimpy issues go for decent money. If you want to really ruin your childhood, watch the Ren and Stimpy Adult Party. There's an episode where Stimpy gives birth, which is just god fucking awful. Don't know what they were doing at that point back in 2002 with the USA Network when they were trying to let's have a cartoon blocking and compete with Adult Swim at the time. It was fucking awful. However, ironically, it's one of my better selling DVDs for some reason. And the other thing is, Captain Mega, Voice of God. Did you watch any of the final season of The Flash?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
The best seasons of The Flash were the first two, and that's it.
And
it was time that it went over its time. I think it lost its focus over time. You know, it became something about the Grant Gustin was great, though. I'll give you that much, and I agree with people almost where at the end of the movie, it's like he should have been upgraded to movie version. You know what I mean? But maybe he's not ready for that yet. Who knows?
I've been hearing rumors that there was a scene film that was cut. How true it is, I don't know.
That would have been awesome.
But there is some good spec play off of all this Flash. Please, Warner Brothers, don't bring Ezra Miller back for a sequel to this. If you're gonna kill the Batman Beyond that you're gonna spin out of it, kill that too. Have Ezra be done. But Flash issue 762. This is the final chapter of Joshua Williams' final story. It's called Finish Line. And it basically has the Flash forgive the Reverse Flash for murdering his mom. And Barry Allen kills the time loop and, sets the timeline in the proper way. It was a good ending to this rebirth era. I mean, the Joshua Williams run, I think, is undervalued and underappreciated. And this is a really good storyline from issues 759 to 762. I kind of wish the TV show would have adapted this, but, the producer of that show, I don't think produced a paper bag. That's just my opinion. I testified. Damn right, we're going to testify. So, I also think I got to rewatch it. Now that I'm 100% awake and I had some cappuccino and some Red Bull in the system. Why is it that Superman and Lois did a better Doomsday than a $100 million movie back in 2016 with Superman versus Batman?
The look is one thing, but the premise of how that Doomsday was made is not Doomsday.
I'm going by look alone.
No, I'm okay. Let's go by look. Yeah, he looked great. Again, the premise I don't like. Oh yeah, so Luther created him from fucking. I don't give a shit. Spoilers, just spoiler. Who cares? The show was yesterday. If you haven't watched it, that's shame on them. But how the fuck are you gonna make a goddamn Doomsday out of a Bizarro? I mean,
I love the look. I thought they were going with that since last season, anyways, and I was like, hey, it's a CW. They're gonna do what they want with it.
Yeah. nah.
We didn't even get a good Superman versus Doomsday animated.
Yeah, agreed. No, this was cool, and the way it ends. Let's see what season 4 holds.
I still think it's the best Superman out there in a long time.
Oh, agreed.
What do you think of the casting news?
I love that. I mean, I like that they've gone with relatively unknowns. Not that big. Homie looks a lot like Cavill, which is funny. You get he just needs to work out a little bit, and he'll be looking like Soups in no time. I think the lowest choice is very nice as well. I mean, I'm digging it. I like this. I like when they don't seek the bigger names, because once they do that, the movie becomes about the bigger name and not about the movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like case in point, Black Adam. I loved Black Adam personally. I thought it was a fun fucking movie, but unfortunately, Rock's personality outweighed what Black Adam.
To me, I felt like I was watching a Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, and there was times I was like, you couldn't at least attempt to do an Egyptian accent for the character.
Yeah,
it's the little things.
I hear.
And I also I hope for villains, James Gunn just stays away from Lex fucking Luthor, General Zod, or do something that you have not done in a movie before, please. Doomsday, like do a Brainiac. You want to do something weird? Do a Toyman. Do something that think outside the box with your villains. For once.
Metaplex.
That would be awesome.
That'd be very magical type fucking movie. Really fuck with Superman.
Yeah. So, with everyone, this was today's episode. As always, I thank everyone for joining us. We got the special dog. The dog's disappearance on the show. Tell Adam to give me more treats. And my mommy's away, my daddy's away, and this that blind fuck has done nothing but verbally abuse me all week. And then he throws sausages down my throat. You think that's all it's gonna take for me to forgive him? I want the whole bag of sausages, you fat blind bastard. Don't say all our secrets on here, buddy. You're a good dog. You're the number one bitch of Awesome Sauce Radio, my friend. Yeah. All you. He's trying to make a kid. How about we put you and his cat in the ring, and we'll have Pet Fight Club. Would you like that, buddy? Would you win a you give you 2 bones and it's all over for Pet Fight Club, and I lose everything.
Farting is bad.
And my dog would win the farting contest, hands down, though. But to everyone, I thank you so much. Please go chase your dreams. You just might catch them. Remember, you don't need sight to have vision. It's not what happens to what you do about it. Once again, check out chick_comics on Instagram. Tell them what I don't sent you. Check out Bad-Dragon. Get yourself a dildo. Have some fun. Yeah. As my brother Matthew always says, remember to keep 1 in the pink and 2 in the stink. Pay for your porn. Get high responsibly. And and this 4th of July weekend, if you have neighbors that have dogs, do not shoot off fucking fireworks. I mean, you see, this is a dog. This Tuesday, when all my motherfucking idiot neighbors are shooting off fireworks, this poor thing is going to get scared. So think of your neighbors who have dogs when you're shooting off the fireworks, motherfuckers. Be respectful. Be responsible. Leave the fireworks to professionals. You may blow off your hands. If you're going to drink, don't drink and drive. Get drunk. Get shit-faced drunk. But take an Uber. Leave your keys. Take a lift. Do not get behind the wheel of the car. If you drive while drunk, you're a stupid motherfucker. I said it. Testify. I love you all. Happy 4th of July weekend coming up. Bye, and I'm out.